Good morning, all souls. Welcome. I'm Reverend Randy Lewis, and I'm joined from the chancel today by our senior minister, Reverend Marlin Lavanhar, and we're so glad to be in worship this morning with you. And welcome to those who've joined us online, our online viewers, and everywhere, members watching from all over the world. We're so glad that you've joined us today. Now, if you're on Facebook or Zoom, please drop your prayer requests, joys, and concerns into the chat so that in a moment we can light a candle and hold space for you here in the sanctuary. Now, if you're new to All Souls or a first-time guest with us today, we do have a gift for you. Now, our ushers will be coming forward to give you. If you just raise your hands, they will let you give you a gift. Here's come Walter right now. And immediately after the service, you're invited to the Sun Library for a special meet and greet. That's a chance for us to get to know you and to let you know all about the great things that are happening in our community here. And if you're online, please stay after the coffee hour conversations. Now, if you will, if you stand as you are able for our invocation and covenant. Love is a spirit of, no, hold on. The invocation. This is indeed a day that God has made. Let us then rejoice in it and be glad. Let us count our many blessings. Let us be grateful for the capacity to see, feel, hear, and understand. Let us be grateful for the incredible gift of life. Let us be especially grateful for the ties of love that bind us together, giving dignity, meaning, worth, and joy to all our days. Now, please join me in our covenant that's printing your order of service. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Welcome to All Souls, where we love beyond. Yes. Before you take your seat, and as our chalice lighter comes forward, please greet your neighbor. And longtime Unitarian Universalist Jerry Gillian. Now, Jerry relocated from Oregon with Tulsa Remote. She has participated in our Wellspring small group ministry and is a loving member of our congregation. So let's welcome Jerry.
We light this flame to remind us love is the center. As we grow and connect, mature, and deepen, love remains. We light, when the light of truth burns all else away, love remains.
It's wonderful to be together with all ages who are with us now. I always love this first part of the service before the children go to Sunday school, and we try to find an opportunity to give a message for all ages. And today, I want to talk a little bit, because we're welcoming new members into the congregation today, I want to talk a little bit about the different ways that people come to belong to All Souls. And I'm curious, if there are anybody here who knows whether you were dedicated on this chancel at any point in as a baby dedication or a child dedication, any children or maybe adults who, I see Jamie Morton's way back there and some others who go way back, Jill Overalls and some of these young people. So how about parents? Have you had your child dedicated on this chancel at some point? Okay, so more parents remember than the babies, right? We understand that. So one of the ways that people come to belong to our congregation is that they bring their child when a child is born, or if you've joined the church after your children were already grown quite a bit, but we will do a dedication ceremony for any family. It's a ritual to welcome those children into the life of our community. And so we say their name, and we lift them up, and we bless them, and we sing to them, and we say words of promise to the children. And who has seen a baby dedication in this church at some point? Okay, that's pretty much everybody. All right, good. And if you're new, because we've had almost 180 people join the church in the last 15 months. So, I know, it's fantastic. You may want to have your child or baby dedicated, and we welcome that anytime. In fact, we already have 2 ready for Homecoming Sunday. We have 2 child dedications on Homecoming Sunday on September 8th. And then another way that people come to belong to our community is through our coming of age ceremony. So, of course, if you bring a child or a baby up here to be dedicated into the life of All Souls, they don't really know what we're doing. They don't really have a lot of, they can't consent to becoming a part of this community. They're sort of thrust into it. So when our children reach 9th grade, we take them through a process during that year. So I think it's the best year of our Sunday school. If you have any 9th graders, by the way, or know any 9th graders in your life, invite them. We have a great class this year, and it's going to be fantastic. But in that year, we help our young people discover, what do they believe? What do you believe? So that it culminates, as many people remember, Coming of Age Sunday in the spring, where our young people come forward and read their beliefs to the congregation. And that's their opportunity. We say in the baby dedication or the child dedication, when your child reaches the age of discretion, when they, out of their own mind and their own heart, can acknowledge their duty to life, to God, to the world, bring them forward to acknowledge that. And that's what we do on Coming of Age Sunday. And then a lot of our 9th graders become a part of this church through that ritual. And then the other way is people join the congregation as adults, and we welcome adults into the life of the church. And if you're ready to join All Souls at 11:15 today, we have a joining class for those who might be interested in learning more about what it means to become a part of the family of All Souls. But today, we have, if you see in our order of service, we have the names of about 32 people. It's 32 who've joined All Souls. And today we're going to recognize those people. And I think there are 6 or 7 in this service who we're going to recognize. And so here's what I'd like us to do. As our new members come forward for this ritual of welcome into All Souls, I'd like the rest of us to sing hymn number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. So let us sing as our new members please come forward onto the chancel.
Yes, you can stand, please. As those new members come forward on the chancel, let's sing together. Come, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you. Today, we formally welcome you, our new members and our online virtual members as well, all who's watching from across the country and around the world. We welcome you into the covenant of love and service that binds us together. And so this will be for the adults only. The children are part of you, okay? So, will you new members honor our covenant to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another? If so, please say, I will.
Beautiful. And now, to the congregation, because this is ritual impacts all of us, as our community grows, do you affirm your commitment to the covenant of love and service that binds us together? If so, please say, we do. We do. Beautiful. All right. And now, will you welcome these new members into our community, into your life, into your heart, and strive to dwell with them in peace, seek the truth with them in love, and to help them when they are in need? If so, please say, I will. I will. Wonderful. And now to all of us who are members of All Souls, together I say, let us remember that our covenant is a promise that we make to one another. And it is something that we strive to live out each day together. And when you falter or fail in living out this covenant, will you take responsibility? Will you seek forgiveness and begin again in love? If so, please say, I will.
I will.
Beautiful. All right, and now for our new members, we have each of these rituals that I spoke about involves a flower, and we bless with flowers. And so I would ask you to please state your name. Say it one more time.
Alice Haas.
Alice Haas. I welcome you into the family of All Souls. May your eyes see beauty, may your lips speak truth, may your heart know love, and may your hands do the good works of this world all the days of your life.
Yes. May you say your name. State your name.
Sunny Walksma.
Sunny Walksma. I welcome you to the fellowship of all souls. May your eyes see beauty. May your lips speak truth. May your heart know love. And may your hands do the good work of this world all the days of your life.
Please say your name. David Haas. I welcome you into the family of All Souls. May your eyes see beauty. May your lips speak truth. May your heart know love. And may your hands do the good works of this world all the days of your life. Welcome.
Would you please state your name?
Nathan Walksmuth.
Nathan Washmuth. May your eyes see beauty. May your lips speak truth. May your heart know love. And may your hands do the good work of this world all the days of your life.
Please state your name.
Julie Garrett.
Julie Garrett. I welcome you into the family of All Souls. May your eyes see beauty. May your lips speak truth. May your heart know love. And may your hands do the good works of this world all the days of your life. Welcome. And our choir has a special song.
May you dare to dream dreams. May you dare to speak the truth. May you know your power to act. May love be your guide. May you walk with head held high. May your heart praise earth and sky. May you see life's gift to you. May love be your guide, your guide. Amen. May love be your
Can return to join in with the congregation. Let us welcome them into the life of All Souls.
Thank you.
And our children are now dismissed to the Sunday school classrooms. Thank you all for participating in our new member recognition. It means so much to those who join our congregation, to be a part of that, to be welcomed in this way. And I really hope and trust that you meant that from the depths of your heart. So I want to light a candle for our growing congregation and community. We're really blessed to have new lives among us in this way. And I want to light a candle today for Leanna Fish, our member whose father, Edwin, is now on hospice. And so we're thinking of you, Leanna, as well as your father. And a special candle for J.P. Morton, who's fifth generation member of this congregation, who earned the rank of Eagle Scout this week. Yes, I think JP's in the back. We're lighting a candle for you, JP. It is quite an achievement in the Boy Scouts, a symbol of dedication and leadership, if you know about that, and commitment. Only about 6% of scouts gain the rank of Eagle Scout, so a tremendous accomplishment. We're really proud of you. I want to light a candle for Douglas Gents, who his wife Vivian. Vivian donated the flowers today in his memory, but I'm thinking about him. What a beautiful man he was, and a gift to our community, who has passed, but we remember him very much with this candle and in our lives. And a final candle for this morning, which is for my wife Anitra and for me for our 25th wedding anniversary this month. If you have other names that you'd like to call out of somebody you'd like to bring into this service and have us light a candle for, please call them out. Beautiful. I think we got them all lit now. Beautiful. All these names spoken that are in our hearts and now in this space with us in the light of our candles as they are the light of our world. We give thanks as Randy leads us, Reverend Randy leads us in a prayer. But before the prayer, actually, I'd like to invite those who are mourning the death of a loved one in the last year, someone who's died in the last year, in your heart, if you'd like to stand in memory and mourning, or if this Sunday is the closest to the anniversary of the death of a loved one, we invite you on that anniversary Sunday to rise for a moment of silence.
You may be seated. Loving Spirit, for those among us who are suffering, whether in body, mind, or spirit, we ask for your comfort. May your love surround them, offering solace and strength in their time of need. Dear God, grant us the courage we need today to engage in the dialogues that heal, that unite. Help us to see beauty in our differences and remind us that through our diversity we find resilience and grace. As we learn to listen more deeply and speak truthfully, may we bridge the divides. May we mend what is broken among us. Let our hearts be open to understanding, and may our minds be guided by the flame of love and justice, hope and healing. Oh God, we pray for a future where all are seen, valued, and honored. Let our words and actions reflect our commitment to this vision as we work together to create a world where love, justice, and healing prevail in this. And in this we are so thankful. And in your many names we pray. Amen, and blessed be.
invite you to sing with us hymn number 112. Do you hear? That your great hymnal, and we invite you to rise as you are able in body or spirit. That's number 112. Do you hear?
Well, this is a special message today because we decided, our worship team decided that we should ask the congregation what's on their minds, what's going on. And so we have been asking through emails and online social media for folks to say, what are your questions for us, the two of us, and that we'll be in dialogue about those questions. And so we have some that we've sort of chosen and brought some together from the online questions. So thank you to everybody who's offered these questions, and we're going to do our best to answer as many as we can. If we don't get through them all, we'll answer more in the second service, and we'll also answer them. We'll try to answer them. We'll write about them, and maybe we'll do some sermons and messages about some of these questions. So thank you. Great, brilliant questions. And Randy and I bring a lot of different things to the table, so hopefully that'll show up as we answer. We have not talked about this to prepare, other than just to say that, these are the questions we're going to talk about. But I have no idea what Randy's about to say, nor does he have any idea what I'm about to say.
I don't know what I'm going to say.
And Lee Rumley is going to ask your questions to us as we go along and keep us on track, hopefully.
Here's our first question. What religion were you raised, and how did it impact your sense of identity, both positively and negatively?
Well, I was raised Baptist and Pentecostal, so Baptist-costal. How was it impacted? Yes, so, I mean, I would just tell you that, early on, that religion was really central to my faith and upbringing. I had a really difficult life, and so a lot of struggles, a lot of death, a lot of tragedy, and religion, even the Baptist and the Pentecostal faith, was really foundational for me. It was a place of safety where I sought relief from that serious pain that I was enduring. My whole family did. We all went to church, and it was just really foundational for us. So I say that as my seed. I like to call myself the first ever Unibaptist-costal. You may have heard me say that. Is because I believe all of those, my faith is in me. It's part of my journey and what led me here. Yeah, repeat that question again. Let me just make sure if I answered it again.
What religion were you raised, and how did it impact your sense of identity, both positively and negatively?
So as far as my identity, I would tell you that I wasn't allowed to, in some ways it was really restrictive. So in other ways, I just talked about how open it was for my healing, but it was really suppressive in one way when I talk about my identity as a gay man. I knew I had struggles, or shall I say, desires and stuff like that, but I didn't know where to navigate those or talk about those. Religion, in my former religions, they didn't allow me space. Now that was the one area that was taboo and untouchable. And so it was always in the dark. It took me coming here, or shall I say, in a more progressive faith, to where I really came out. As a matter of fact, it was here. Marlin asked the first time. Now, I had been in higher dimensions for a number of years in my previous Pentecostal and Baptist traditions, and no one ever asked if me and my partner was together. It was Marlin the first time here. He said, "Hey, are you two together?" And it was like, what the? Somebody actually asked? And then I said, yes. And I like to say this. I'm going to share this. This is off topic, but I would like to share this. But I had left the ministry. I had left faith because I had this huge crisis. And it was Marlin in that moment, because he said something else that just healed me. He said, "I heard you were a Baptist minister. Would you consider coming and joining our staff?" And that was my calling, folks. He gave me my calling to return to ministry. And I have been coming out ever since.
All right. I love it. I love it. That's awesome. That's great to hear. And I want to say, my father was raised Jewish. My mother was raised Catholic in the 50s and 40s and 50s. And they, when they were married, 1959, they decided to look for a way to bring up their children that would be both respectful of their my father's Jewish heritage and my mother's Christian heritage, and something that they could find as common ground. Neither one wanted to convert to the other's religion, and the Unitarian Universalist Church just fit the bill, and they were really happy that we'd be raised and get these positive messages about both traditions, and also learn about the world's religions, and learn about Native American spirituality in Sunday school, and learn about science and evolution. And it just seemed like a perfect fit for my parents and for me and my brother. And so that was really significant for me. And I remember my coming of age ceremony and some of the stuff I talked about earlier, just how significant that was to be in an intergenerational community. I remember some of my father's friends coming up to me and saying, "I really appreciated what you said in your coming of age speech, that it really, it spoke to me." And that had just such a big impact on me at 14 years old, that these men, especially in that moment for me, were affirming who I was. So that idea of being in an intergenerational community of values that's open just meant everything. And I think that the biggest impact it's had on me is over the last 20 years. So the second half of my life has been, I was born in 1968. And so really the last, going through the 70s, 80s, even into the 90s, it was still the old America where all of our education was pretty much teaching us about, white men, how white men had created everything and it seemed like, and how the Native Americans and the Pilgrims, all had a great party together and all loved each other, and that's how this country started. So that was how I was raised through grade school and into high school. But then we started to have some more real conversations as a culture. And I think for me to be part of a Unitarian Universalist church, as we were starting to talk about, racial equality, gender equality, and certainly LGBT equality, to be in this nurturing environment so that I could learn and grow and be held through all that, it's been really important to me. On the negative side, I would just say that I think there's two. One thing is that there is a potential in Unitarian Universalism for us to gain a sense of superiority or arrogance. There's a sense like, oh, these other people don't do religion right, and we know, we understand it better than they do. And I think I grew up with a lot of that. And so I've really tried in my ministries to not send those messages, to really affirm there's many ways to do religion. There's many thoughtful, beautiful people and religiosity happening in so many different traditions. So I honor many ways of being faithful. I just feel like this is the way for me and my family that works, where I feel at home. And so I'm glad to be here.
Thank you.
Did you change religious perspectives since your childhood faith? And if so, how did that change your sense of self?
You sort of
I think I touched upon that a
you
little
did
bit.
touch
Yeah.
Well, I'll start out and see if anything else comes up for you. So after I graduated high school and went off to college, I sort of stopped going to church. It was something we did every Sunday with my family growing up. But after that, I stopped going, and then I traveled. I lived in Japan for 2 years, and I studied Zen Buddhism, and I actually studied the Japanese tea ceremony pretty intensively while I was there. And that's all based in Zen and Japanese philosophy and arts. And so I really was influenced by Eastern religions. And then I traveled through Asia for 4 years, and I spent, after 2 years living there and then 2 years traveling there, and I studied Hinduism and all of those traditions. What I learned was, it actually not only learned a lot about spirituality and spiritual practices, but it also, for the first time, I started to realize I actually gained an appreciation for Jesus through the Buddhists and the Hindus, all of whom recognize Jesus as a spiritual teacher and leader. So as I was learning about Jesus through them, I realized, a lot of the notions I had about Christianity, the Bible, and Jesus from growing up there was a lot of sort of misunderstandings about the literal ideas of the Bible. And all of a sudden I was hearing Buddhists interpret biblical stories, and I'm thinking, wow, that's really interesting. So that got me to go back and look at Christianity from a new lens. And I think that was the biggest impact for me of having kind of, in some ways, left Unitarian. I didn't formally leave it, but having moved away, learned about other faiths, and then coming back, I really had a new appreciation that this is a place where I could bring all of that learning from Buddhism and Hinduism in Japan into my ministry and into my life and my spirituality. So I was really glad to be able to come back and land here.
Beautiful.
Anything?
The only thing I'll say is that I've recognized that my acceptance in UU circles sometimes means rejection. My rejection in other circles. Mm-hmm. And that has been a real big discovery for me. Is that it's real big. So I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, we can talk about that a little later.
All right, Lee?
In most religions, women have been relegated to a lower status, instructed by their leaders to listen to the guidance from males. As males, please talk to All Souls members about equality of females in UU ministry. How do you view the spirituality of the divine feminine?
Wow. Well, from my culture, women were the backbone of my family, the church, just about every part of my experience growing up. I mean, my dad and grandparents, the men weren't there, and this is the case in many, not all, but in many instances within the black family. So the caring, the concern, the compassion that you think the attributes of God, that was mama, and that was grandma. So they were God, So I had that perspective about how women and the place they hold in my life. And I've come into this movement and seen a lot of women in authority, women in high places, women preachers, ministers, and so I still connect that with my upbringing. And women are just God, period.
All right. Beautiful. So it's kind of a two-part question. And I think just to answer the question about in Unitarian Universalist ministry, it was a similar trajectory from a lot of faiths in terms of patriarchy and stuff. It took a while I think we're ahead of the curve around a lot of our openness on different issues. But there's still a lot, even today, I think, still a lot of work that we need to do. But I will tell you that the first woman ordained by a denomination in the United States of America was Olympia Brown, who was ordained by the Universalist Church of America. So we have that going for us. And today, we have more female ministers than male ministers in the Unitarian Universalist clergy.
Yeah.
And I will say, someone who would be even better to answer this question, and we'll find an opportunity in the future, would be my dear colleague, Reverend Dr. Nicole Kirk, who's a history professor at Meadville, a member of All Souls, and who's going to be joining our ministry team next month. And she's right there. So would you just stand up so they can see who you are? But
Yeah.
I mean, if you want someone who knows Unitarian Universalism, religious life in America, the history of religion, and just one of the most brilliant people I know and colleagues, she's going to be joining. She'll be speaking next Sunday in the pulpit on September 1st, and will be with us throughout this whole church year. So we're really glad to have you with us, Nicole. Now, I just want to circle back to the divine feminine, because we talked about that. I mean, that's part of the question. The divine feminine, so, for me, my understanding of it was that before Christianity became a dominant religion, women and God was often portrayed as female, and the goddess was a major expression of spirituality, which makes sense, right? Because if the giving of birth, the creation of life being female, that just makes a lot more sense in terms of a metaphor. Christianity came in and brought a lot of patriarchy and snuffed out a lot of the goddess worship and feminine, divine feminine spirituality. Islam continued that trend around the world. And so, for me, I really appreciated in the Hindu tradition how much the divine feminine is a part. Goddesses are all over the place in India and worshipped and venerated. So I got to experience that, which was really meaningful for me. And then, for me, the idea of Mary in the Christian tradition, because it's always been confusing that, the creation came through a father and a son. And so I really have found that some of the worship of Mary and some of the traditions around Mary within Catholicism in particular have been really meaningful. As a parent who's lost a child, who's had a child die, Mary and her spirituality, her holding her dead son and making sense of her life after Jesus died, for me has been very instrumental. As a matter of fact, I'd love to read. I have a poem that I carry around the divine feminine and around Mary that's been really important to me. And I've read it here once or twice around Christmas time, the birth of Jesus, because it really kind of balances out. This is from an Episcopal priest named Reverend Alla Renee Bozarth. And she wrote this poem to demonstrate how Christian liturgy might evolve to better honor the sacred role of Mary alongside Jesus. And so here's what she wrote. Before Jesus was his mother. Before supper in the upper room, there was breakfast in the barn. Before the Passover feast, a feeding trough. And before the altars of earth, fair linens of hay and seed. Before his cry, her cry. Before his sweat of blood, her bleeding and tears. Before his offering, hers. Before the breaking of bread and death, the breaking of her body in birth. Before the offering of the cup, the offering of her breast. Before his blood, her blood. And by her body and blood alone, his body and blood and whole human being. The wise men knelt to hear the woman's word in wonder, holding up her sacred child, her God in the form of a babe. She said, "Receive and let your heart be healed and your lives be filled with love, for this is my body, this is my blood."
Beautiful. Thank you.
So I think the divine feminine is hopefully making a comeback in world religions, but it's certainly, I think, as women become more prominent in our society, I hope women will become more prominent in religion across our culture as well. And case in point, I know I'm going on a little long on this, but I think it's important. When you think, regardless of what you think politically about Nancy Pelosi, many people have said on both sides of the aisle, she's the best Speaker of the House we have ever had. Now, again, I'm not making a political point here. I'm making a point that for how many generations and how many centuries did we not allow women to take that kind of political leadership in our country? And then as soon as we do, she becomes the best we've ever had. And I think that I'm hoping that her example is a corrective to our culture to realize we need to recognize that women are phenomenal leaders and that we need to make sure that we make space, because if we're not, we're missing out on 50% at least of all of our great leaders.
Yes. I totally agree. Yes.
This topic was directed for Randy. I would like to know if Randy ever struggles with suffering or feeling stuck while ministering to white folks, and how does he handle that experience, if so?
Okay, well, ministering to white folks. Well, first of all, I'm married to one.
All right.
And I do struggle with that one. But he struggles with me. I know he does. And he's my rock and my foundation. And my awesome rock. I love you. Wow. So as a minister, I mean, it's almost something that I don't experience when I show up. When I was a chaplain for many years at the VA, and I show up in a room, I don't see, I can't see color. That would undermine my entire ministry, right? So I have to be there for all people, and I've always saw that I'm connected by their struggle. I'm connected by their story. And I'm connected by what they're going through in that moment because I can relate. So I haven't had a problem ministering with or to white people. I will say just one thing. I struggle sometimes when white people invalidate my experience. And that is difficult for me. But I'm learning, even when they are invalidating, or when people invalidate my experience while I'm trying to minister to them, is that it's still not about me. It's about doing the healing work that I'm called to do. So, but that's the only issue. I'm wondering,
Well, that's deep what you said. I'm just curious, do you by any chance have an example that we might be able to understand of somebody invalidating you?
Well, I hear it all on the news all the time.
Right.
That didn't happen. I'm like, well, yeah, it did. But I mean, I'll just give one. My partner is the safest one, and he, we've had conversations. He's like, don't put me on the spot. I am going to get it when I get home, y'all. But I mean, there's been a time when I said something and I'm like, this person was being racist, and he said, I don't think they were. And I got angry with him because he didn't validate what I was feeling. But then as I started thinking about that was my story, and it could have been truth, but it may not have been. And he didn't see it like that, and I did. Now, in that instance, we had a big discussion about it since then, and he could have validated what I was feeling. We came to this conclusion that he could have validated what I was feeling, but not necessarily affirm what I said, that it was truth. And so I'm learning how to nuance when those things happen, But I'm in a relationship with the white person, so we have a lot of those conversations.
That makes sense.
And what about you?
I don't mind. I have an easy time ministering to white people, but actually, I mean, sometimes it's a struggle when we do bring up, race and other things, and white people are wrestling with that. It can be, I can struggle with my patience. I mean, I think this congregation has probably felt that over the years at times when, I'm trying to say we need to move forward on this issue around race or even sexual orientation or other things, and people are not going with me as fast as I would like them to, and I have found that to be frustrating at times. But I will say on the flip side, when New Dimensions came, and Bishop Pearson and you all started joining us, and Pastor Smith, that I can remember, preaching to the contemporary service. It took me time to figure out how to find my voice in that setting, because I think I did, I would try to preach like a black preacher or something like that, and trying to find how do I keep it interesting? I want to get people to say amen to me too, So I'm like, do I need to work with a rhythm, or what do I have to do to make this happen? So I had to kind of relearn how to speak a little bit, in the context of black preacher. But I think the funniest example I have of all this was one Sunday morning early on, when at the height of we used to have, for those who weren't, we used to have a third service, which was a contemporary service, which combined these two communities for about 10 years. And it was really high energy, with praise singing, and it was just an amazing service, and a very different kind of feel than I was used to, having been raised Unitarian Universalist. But I remember one Sunday when I was speaking, and Pastor David and the New Dimensions chorale were singing, and then the chorale went to sit down in the front pew, but David was still playing, and then they started singing again from the pews, and other people were singing, and I was standing here, and Randy was right there, and I was about to get in the pulpit, and Randy grabbed my jacket and just said, hold on, it's not, don't go in yet. And I'm like, and he was just a student intern or whatever at that time. And I was like, okay, all right. And then I'm waiting, another minute, and I'm thinking, okay. And I look over at him, he goes, no, not yet. And I'm like, what? And then all of a sudden, then I'm waiting. I'm thinking, what am I waiting for? And then he goes, okay, now. And I was like, what did he hear in the music and what David was doing? So it took a while for my ear and my heart and everything to catch up to what was actually going on in that music, and what was happening in the room and the space, which was different from me. So I didn't have all the cues or the cultural understanding to really know that folks were having a moment and there was something going on, and I needed to wait till David sort of recognized it and shifted it before it would have felt good to get in the pulpit. Otherwise, I would have been interrupting something. But it was like I'm like, what was going on? I had no idea. So it's been a great learning and journey. Are we out of time? Hey, so we have a few more questions. We'll try to answer the other ones. We'll start with the other ones in the second service, and we'll also try to put stuff up online. If you have more questions, and we'd love to hear what you think of this, because we could do some more dialogues, sprinkled throughout the year, possibly in here with Reverend Kirk and Reverend Davis and some other folks, if you want us to do, if you think this is a good format. So we'd love to hear some feedback after the service. But thank you all, and I hope that you thank you.
Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Sing it with me. Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Let's stand together if you're able. Let's sing it. I'm gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Yeah, you can clap your hands. I see you. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Thank you, Rick. Help him, yeah. Never turning. You see what Rick is doing? Gonna keep on moving proudly. Let's do it. Keep on moving proudly. Keep on moving proudly. Never turning back. Gonna keep on singing loudly. Gonna keep on singing loudly. Let me hear you, come on. Yeah. Keep on singing loudly. Never turning back. Keep on loving boldly. I'm gonna keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly. Never turning back. Never turning back. All right, I'm going to ask you to get out of your seat and find someone, either give them a smile, a handshake, or a hug.
Yeah.
And tell them you are loved. You are loved, Rick. Gonna keep on loving boldly. Yeah, spread some love, come on. Keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly. You can find more than one person. Never turning back. Never turning back. Keep on moving forward. I'm gonna keep on moving forward. Yeah. Forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back.
All right. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Please be seated. We have a special treat. Rick handed me a little piece of paper during that song, and it says that during the offering, the choir will sing the Ukrainian national anthem in honor of Ukrainian Independence Day, which was celebrated yesterday in their country. It's a big deal because they're fighting hard for their independence right now. So I'm really thrilled that Rick and the choir have taken on this song. We're going to be collecting for the Little Blue House, which is a affirming ministry at the University of Tulsa. You know, a lot of people go to university and that's where even in my story today, kind of your mind starts to open up and you get exposure to new things. That's often the first place that a lot of people go, and they realize that there's more, like Randy's story, there's other ways to be religious. And so the Little Blue House is a wonderful ministry, interfaith ministry at University of Tulsa that we love to support. So please give generously. If you're giving to the offering and you're writing a check or putting it in one of those envelopes in the pewbacks, put offering on there so we know it goes to the Little Blue House to where you want it. And if you are giving to All Souls, just make sure you put church in the memo so that we will make sure that your check gets to All Souls if you want to put a check in there for the church. Few quick things to announce. Those who are new to All Souls, if you're here for the first time or the first few times, in the Sonnen Library, just out to the left here, there's going to be folks there to greet you and answer your questions. One of us will go in and answer questions. So we'd love to meet you and find out what your experience was today and what you think of All Souls and how you got here, and we'd love to meet you. Also, for everybody, in Emerson Hall, we have our bookstore, refreshments, fellowship, a chance to sign up for different things if you want to get involved in different things. But go on into Emerson Hall and let's create some community, especially with our new members. If you see someone with a yellow flower, say hello and welcome them into the life of our congregation. Our Let's Chat group is going to be in there. There will be a table with folks who are going to talk more about our message today. So if you want to be a part of that. I understand that our pickleball tournament's happening. Randy's got a pickleball. It used to be the golf tournament, so we're trading in the golf balls for a pickleball. Who plays pickleball here? Anybody? All right, we'd love to have you be a part. We need some more players in the tournament, so you can sign up for that as well in Emerson Hall. But let's get enough players to have a great tournament. It's a little bit of a fundraiser for All Souls, but it's a fundraiser for all of us, and you can just come and watch if you want and see who wins. We're kicking off a program this year called Conscious Inclusion, which is a chance to have this kind of dialogue between black and white and different races and understand our own racial identity and our own identities through that. And so that's a 9-month program. It'll be going throughout this church year or this school year. And we'd love to have you be a part of it. You got to start when it begins in September, and then you'll follow through. And you're going to meet some great people, and you're going to learn a lot and grow. We begin in cohorts of both persons of color and white folks, and then we mix in the second half of the year all together. So it's going to be a fabulous opportunity for everybody, and I hope everyone will get involved in some way. Next Sunday, we'll have the maiden journey of Reverend Nicole Kirk in our pulpit, although she's been preaching for over 20 years and is a professor in seminary. So, Nicole, we are really looking forward to you. Dr. Nicole Kirk is an amazing voice in our movement and around the world. So, and then on September 8th is Homecoming Sunday. We're going to have activities on the lawn, food for everybody, and bounce house for the kids and music and all kinds of stuff. So come on out September 8th as we come back to launch the new year in full, and invite your friends to come, invite your family, invite your neighbors, and let's have a great Sunday on September 8th. Right now we're going to collect for the Little Blue House, and we're going to listen to the Ukrainian national anthem.
List of
let us all light a candle in our hearts for the people of Ukraine, that they will be able to maintain their independence in the years ahead as a country, because I know it's just got to be brutal over there right now as they try to do that. As we go forth, I want to let you know the two questions we didn't get to. One was about transgender. So there were a number of questions about transgender issues in our society today, so we're going to try to answer that in the next service, as well as some talking points for how we deal with when we see racism or homophobia and stuff in society. So we'll try to start with those questions in the next service. And as you go forth into this beautiful day, as we prepare to launch a new year together with our children and one another, may your eyes see beauty, may your lips speak truth, may your heart know love, and may your hands do the good works of this world all the days of your life. And until we meet again, go and be blessed and be a blessing. Amen.